Valentine's Day had already felt off before anything actually happened. Not dramatically, just in that quiet way where the day doesn't line up with expectations. Restaurants were full. Streets were louder than usual. Couples everywhere doing what couples do on that date. I remember thinking how strange it was that something meant to feel warm and reassuring could make the night feel more exposed instead. We didn't have big plans, just dinner, a walk, and then heading back. Simple, comfortable. That's probably why it stayed with me. After dinner, we decided to walk instead of driving straight home. The area was familiar, a mix of residential streets and small parks that people cut through all the time. It wasn't late, still early enough that the night felt active, but quiet enough that the noise thinned out between blocks. At first, everything felt normal. Couples passing by, laughter drifting from windows, the occasional car rolling through. Nothing that would have made me uneasy on any other night. The shift was subtle. It started when the streetlights spaced out more than I remembered. The walk suddenly felt longer, like we were moving through a stretch that didn't quite belong to the rest of the neighborhood. Houses were still there, but darker, set back farther from the road. Fewer windows lit. We talked less without really deciding to. I remember noticing how sound carried differently. Footsteps felt louder. Conversations farther away sounded closer than they should have. It made me aware of how much empty space there was around us, even though we were technically still surrounded by homes. Then I noticed someone behind us. Far enough that I didn't register him right away. Just a presence in the background that didn't feel connected to any of the other movement on the street. No couple, no phone glow, just one person walking at the same pace we were. I didn't say anything at first. People walk the same routes. It happens, but the distance didn't change. We slowed slightly, pretending to look at something ahead. He slowed too. When we picked up the pace again, the footsteps behind us adjusted immediately, staying just far enough back to be ambiguous. That's when my stomach started to tighten. I told myself not to overthink it. Valentine's Day puts people out later than usual. Maybe he was just heading home. Maybe I was projecting because the night felt quieter. But then we turned. It wasn't a sharp turn, just a gentle cut through a side path that most people skip unless they know it's there. I expected him to continue straight. He didn't. He turned with us. I felt that cold, sinking realization spread through my chest before my brain fully caught up. The kind where your body reacts first, tightening everything, preparing without telling you what it's preparing for. I glanced back, just enough to confirm he was still there. Same distance, same pace. Head down, hands not visible. No rush, no hesitation. That calmness bothered me more than anything else. We stopped walking. So did he. Not immediately. Just enough of a delay that it felt intentional. I remember how loud my heartbeat felt in my ears at that moment. How suddenly aware I became of how far we were from the nearest main road. How the park path cut away from the lights instead of toward them. I didn't want to make it obvious that I was scared. I didn't want to escalate something that might still be nothing. But the instinct to leave was strong enough that it overrode politeness. I said we should head back. We turned around. He turned too. That's when fear stopped being theoretical. We didn't run. Not yet. Running felt like a line you don't cross unless you're sure. We walked faster, steps controlled, pretending this was just a normal change of direction. I felt exposed in a way that surprised me. It wasn't just about being followed, it was the timing. Valentine's Day, a night where people expect safety in numbers, expect warmth, expect distraction. The contrast made everything sharper. I remember thinking how strange it was that the night was full of couples, and yet we were suddenly alone. The path opened up near a small clearing, and for a second, I hoped he'd veer off, take a different route, disappear into the darkness, and prove my fear wrong. He didn't. That's when my breathing changed, shallow, without me meaning to. My hands felt cold, and I realized I'd clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. We reached a point where the path split, one side leading toward brighter streets, the other toward a darker residential stretch. I didn't hesitate. We turned toward the lights. He followed. That was the moment my heart dropped fully into my stomach. The last thread of denial snapped, and everything after that felt sharper, louder, more immediate. I slowed just enough to let him close the distance by a step, wanting confirmation I didn't want to have. I don't know what I expected him to do. Say something, change pace, break the tension. The fact that he didn't made it worse. Silence gave him control over the moment. I felt a wave of fear strong enough that it almost made me dizzy. The kind of fear that makes your body feel too solid, like movement itself is difficult. I made the decision to cross the street abruptly, not at an intersection, not cleanly. Just a sudden change. He crossed too. That was it. We broke into a run. I didn't look back. I didn't want the image burned into my head. All I could think about was distance, light, sound, anything that meant witnesses. We didn't stop until we reached a busier street where cars were passing and people were still out. Only then did I turn. He was gone. The absence felt almost as unsettling as the presence had been. Like the night had swallowed him whole the moment it no longer served whatever purpose he had. We didn't talk much after that. Not because we didn't want to, but because there was nothing useful to say. The walk back felt longer, heavier. Every shadow felt like it carried memory instead of threat. When we got inside, I locked the door without thinking. My hands were shaking enough that I noticed for the first time how hard my heart was still pounding. Valentine's cards were still on the table. Flowers hadn't wilted yet. Everything looked exactly as it should. That made it worse. We didn't go out walking on Valentine's night again after that. It just stopped being an option. I still think about that person sometimes. Not about what he might have done, but about how little he needed to do to change the entire night. No words, no sudden moves, just presence and patience. That's the part that stays with me. Valentine's Day is supposed to be about closeness. That night taught me how thin the line is between feeling safe and realizing you aren't. Thanks for watching No Sleep Tonight. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow. And if you want more unsettling stories, there are 2 more waiting for you on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, sleep well.